Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President says if all 96 UPFA MPs support him, he can create a SLFP government tomorrow. Fire at the Kanadula garbage dump contained with Air Force support. Politicians criticize the misuse of public funds. 3 dead in tragic accident in Vallavaya.
President Maithripala Sirisena this evening said if he received the support of the 96 MPs from the SLFP-led alliance who incidentally won the 2015 general elections, he is prepared to establish a Sri Lanka Freedom Party government even tomorrow. The head of state was speaking at a meeting in the Ratnapura town. Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena says following the local government elections, he will take over the task of rectifying the flaws in government economic management.
Yesterday, a public meeting took place at the Gampaha bus stand to muster support for the candidates contesting under the SLFP-led UPFA for the local government elections. They ask what I did for 3 years after becoming president. Before we speak about the 3 years, where was the country when I was elected as president? Someone among you say the situation in the country was better before my election and there was even development. If there was development and beauty, and if the country was lifted from where it was, why did my friend, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, call for elections 2 years ahead of schedule? You are aware of the luxurious lives they lived. There is a palace in Jaffna closed down. I have called for international tenders to convert the palace in Jaffna to a high-standard tourist hotel. A 3,500 million rupee palace in Jaffna for a president. Recently I announced after the election I will be taking over the task of addressing the flaws identified by the National Economic Council in the economic management of the country. Those in the UNP panicked. I clearly told them, do you not understand the people's cost of living? Do you not understand how difficult it is for the people to survive? Do you not understand the issue in the prices of goods? Haven't local products fallen? There are issues in economic management and these need to be revived. I gave freedom for that for the past 3 years. But after this election, I will take over addressing those shortcomings.
Now, after the Kapra beetle scare late last year, the tea sector of our country is facing yet another red flag. The Japanese authorities have expressed their concern that some of the Ceylon tea exports to Japan are not up to the required standards.
The Daily Mirror reported today that the issue has arisen as a result of the presence of a chemical component in Sri Lankan tea exports to Japan. The paper quoting the minister says the chairman of the tea board is scheduled to travel to Japan at the end of the month to discuss the matter with the authorities. According to the paper, the minister says the chemical levels in tea have increased with the use of weedicides introduced as an alternative for glyphosate. When Newsfirst inquired the matter from Minister Navin Disanayake, he refused to comment. During the recent visit of Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Kono to the country, Minister Navin Disanayake had requested more time be granted to enable tea growers to adjust to the revised regulations introduced by Japanese authorities on very low residue levels in tea, which were enforced last October. Meanwhile, tea production in the country has increased sharply last year by 14.5 million kilograms. Though the country produced 307.07 million kilograms of tea last year, a percentage increase of 4.96%, the exports have only increased by 0.07%. The export volume only increased by 0.2 million kilograms and stood at 288.9 million kilograms last year. Tea prices in the review period increased by 26.19 to a record 807.44 rupees per kilo of freight on board price.
Well, time for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back.
Well, a very good evening to all our viewers. Well, we've constantly spoke about fraud and corruption which has happened during the administration of the previous government, as well as the fraud and corruption which has taken place during this government as well. Now, with the establishment and with the election of this government coming into power in January 2015, a Presidential Commission of Inquiry to look into large-scale fraud and corruption was appointed to investigate fraud and corruption alleged to have taken place during the administration of the previous government until 2015. And this is the final report, as it says in Avasan Vartawa in Sinhalese, the final report of Presifac, or the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into large-scale fraud and corruption, has been out. And now they've investigated 34 cases, and they published those cases in this report. We're going to look at one of these cases, which is case number 9. Now, case number 9 looks into fraud and corruption which took place at Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka's national carrier, and Sri Lankan Catering. Now, in this report, they mention 6 individuals. Let's take a look at who the 6 people are. For number 1, Priyanka Jaratna, and then we have Nishanta Wickremesinghe, and then Manoj Divas Gunawardena, Kapila Chandrasena, M. Esa Chandra Fernando, and Nitya Senani Samaranayaka. Now, who are the 6 people? Well, we don't have much time to talk about all 6 of them because we run out of airtime. However, we will talk about 2 of them, and it goes like this. Right, Nishanta Wickremesinghe, he served as the chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines up until 2015. Now let's take a look at why Sri Lankan Airlines ran into so much losses. Nishanta Wickremesinghe, during his tenure as chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines, in 2014, he diverted a flight UL319 from Malaysia to Colombo. And why? To arrive at Singapore so that the chairman, his wife, as well as Dr. Sarath Amunogama could arrive in Colombo. Now, this caused a loss to Sri Lankan Airlines of 596,000 rupees, which is close to 600,000 rupees. Then in 2014 again, he inconvenienced a whole lot of passengers, 75 passengers coming in from Maldives, who were set to go on a transit flight to France. So what happened here was the chairman used his authority and directed the flight to France earlier before flight UL110 arrived in Sri Lanka. Now, this caused a massive loss to Sri Lankan Airlines and massive inconveniences to the passengers traveling to France, which meant that they had to be provided accommodation, lodging, so on and so forth. Now, this caused a loss of over 2 million rupees. Then next we have illegally directing Sri Lankan Catering to provide refreshments for the Carlton Rugby tournament in 2013 and 2014. Now, this caused a loss of 275,000 rupees. Well, the list goes on, but we'll keep talking about it. Then he also directed Sri Lankan Catering to provide refreshments for a presidential election propaganda meeting of the former president in 2014 in December. This caused a loss of 185,000 rupees. Then we have our next item on the list. He paid a bonus to a Sri Lankan air hostess who was not entitled to it. Wonder for what reasons? And that cost Sri Lankan Airlines close to 1.5 million rupees. And then we have illegally purchasing vehicle through Sri Lankan Catering. This caused a loss of over 8 million rupees, which is 8.4 million to be exact. Next on the list, maintenance and fuel costs for the vehicle that was purchased. This cost 660,000 rupees, just over 660,000 rupees. And then later we have on the list, a vehicle was purchased through Sri Lankan Catering at the expense of Sri Lankan Catering from a vehicle permit issued for a monk. This caused a loss of 21 million rupees. And then maintenance and fuel costs for the above vehicle also amounted to 126,000 rupees. Add up all these losses, amounts to over 35 million rupees of yours and my money. And then we have the next man on the agenda, Priyanka Jaratna, the minister in charge at the time. Now, at the time, he is alleged to have misused a BMW car belonging to Sri Lankan Catering. Now, come to think of it, the amount losses caused losses caused by the minister of Sri Lankan Airlines is much less than what was caused by the Sri Lankan Airlines chairman at the time. And more on, in addition, the fuel allowance was also so many losses caused there as well, and that was a loss of over 2 million rupees, close to 3 million there. And then illegally paying a Gamba the caterers, a catering company in Maravilla, for supplying refreshments for 1,650 people who attended a UPFA May rally in Arnamado. Now, this caused a loss of 330,000 rupees. Then next we have obtaining refreshments from Sri Lankan Catering for a private party at the residence. This caused a loss of 118,000 rupees. And then again obtaining refreshments from Sri Lankan Catering for a party at the Maravilla official residence, again costing Sri Lankan Airlines 116,000 rupees. Now, this caused a loss to Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka's national carrier, of just close to 3.7 million rupees. Now, when you look at all these losses, and when the new government came in, we thought you voted a new government in, saying that let's eradicate fraud and corruption, and then a new board was appointed to Sri Lankan Airlines as well to convert these losses into profits. But the question is, did this actually happen? Then we have the CEO, Captain Suren Ratwatta. A board paper comes in for Captain Suren Ratwatta to give him a 10 million rupee bonus a month. And then we also have allegations that 4 top officials at Sri Lankan Airlines were being paid monthly salaries of over 3 million rupees. Yes, let that sink in, over 3 million rupees a month. Now, this makes you wonder, if these people are getting paid such exorbitant and highly valued salaries, the company has to be performing, shouldn't it? Well, good question. Let's take a look at the performances, shall we? Now, from 2014 to 2015, under the previous government, Sri Lankan Airlines made a loss of 11.5 billion rupees. Well, things clearly did not get better. From 2015 to 16, Sri Lankan Airlines continued to make losses, and it only made a loss of 12 billion, an increase of 5 million rupees in losses. To make matters worse, in 2016 to 17, the loss for Sri Lankan Airlines was 28.3 billion, and of the 28.3 billion, 14.3 billion was for cancelling the purchasing of A350 aircraft. Now, all of this aggravated has created a massive loss for Sri Lankan Airlines, and your money and our money. So we will keep a close watch and see how this pans out and how it will turn out and what it will bring about for all of us Sri Lankans. That's all I have from here. Back to the news studio.
Thank you, Shaheen, for that comprehensive report. Taking a look at another one of our headline-making stories. An accident in Vallabaya this morning claimed 3 lives, leaving 2 others seriously injured.
The accident took place in an area known as Ice Pillar on the Vallabaya-Thanamalwila main road. A car travelling from Thanamalwila to Vallabaya collided head-on with a SLTP bus. 3 people in the car died. Police said another 5 were injured and 3 of them are in serious condition. The injured were rushed to the Thanamalwila base hospital and were transferred to the Hambantota General Hospital for further treatment. I was on the side of the road and I saw a car coming my way. Then the bus passed from the other side and I heard a loud noise. We all ran towards the wreck. The car had crashed onto the bus due to its speed. Police said a group from Imaduval were travelling in the car. 2 women in the bus were admitted to the Thanamalwila hospital for treatment. Police believe the accident took place because the driver of the car lost control of the wheel. The driver of the SLTB bus was arrested by police.
Let's take a look at some views expressed in the political arena.
2 big books were brought into Parliament. One was the Presidential Commission report on 34 frauds committed under the Mahinda Rajapaksa government. It was a big book. Then at the same time they tabled another report. That was the Bond Commission report. Both were the same weight and it had the same number of pages. Whose money was robbed through all of this? It was the tax money of the people of this country who obtained the license to rob the tax money of the people. It was your vote. They asked for the keys of the treasury at the election. What is it for? It is to rob. Let us think that a malpractice has taken place through the bond. That may be true. If it is true, there is no problem. There was a commission. If someone has committed a mistake, they can be punished. They can be put in jail. The money can be recovered. Anything can be done. Some people are trying to take political advantages through this. The leaders of the Flowerbud party are saying, do not vote by looking at our candidates. They ask that the vote be cast looking at them. They can't tell the people to look at the candidates because half of them are rogues and thugs. The people who have robbed, murdered and made teachers kneel in the past 10 years have come back wearing silk cloth. Both groups are speaking. Remember, this is a conspiracy of both these groups. What is the reason? If the bond debate was held, the garbage of the 2008 bond would be revealed and the garbage of the 2015 bond scam would be revealed. They wanted to keep the garbage buried. The rogues got together and postponed the debate. We ask that this bond debate be held. We are ready to reveal the bond thieves of 2008 and 2015 before the country. They say it has been 3 years since the elephants have broken into the central bank. Dayasri Jayasekara is saying this. Mr. Dayasri Jayasekara, the elephants will attack you on the 10th of February. Why? He went on the back of the elephants and became a man, created a name for himself and put the elephants in trouble. I saw recently when journalists questioned Mahinda Rajapaksa as to who the leader of the Pohottuwa is, he is asking the media as to whether that is the only question they have. Yes, GL Pires and Mahinda Rajapaksa, can they be referred to as flower buds? They have withered.
Mahinda Rajapaksa be Pohottuwa Pepila, Pahana, Kumula, Patela, Kumupuda Nagada, Pohottu Nigga. Paraka Maltiga. Emma me Pohottu in the Loke, Banku Bankolia Purana.
If there was a bank robbery in the world, that robbery happened in Sri Lanka. This is the biggest robbery. The people were burdened by this as well. We want to know how the coconut prices are doing.
Mahinda Rajapaksa mahattaya මේ දවස්වල පොල් අරයි යනවා. දැන් Mahinda Rajapaksa මහත්තයාටයි ගෝලෙන්ටයි එළව.
Mahinda Rajapaksa is speaking of coconuts. He and his henchmen are now seeing coconuts in the afterlife. The corruption and the thievery that they carried out in the past have now come to light. Mahinda's henchmen will not see halves of coconuts, they will see it in full. After the election, the law will be enacted on all of these people and legal action will be taken against them before 2020.
Mahinda
Rajapaksa is a retired president and an MP. A few months ago, you reduced him to the level of riding a bicycle and taught him a lesson for the corruption that he committed. Can you remember? We were in Parliament. Rajapaksa was riding a bicycle. The shawl was going to get entangled with the front tyre. What would have happened then? We quickly sent a message asking him to lift the shawl.
අපි දැක්කා යන්න යන විපතිය සාටකේ තව ටිකකින් ඉස්සරහා රෝදේ පැටලෙනවා පැටලුණා නම් පිටිපස්ස රෝදේ උඩ ගිහිල්ලා ඔළුව බිම ඇනිලා අපි ටක් ගාලා පණිඩයක් ඇරියා සාටකේ උස්ස ගන්න කියලා. Thank you.
Sen Thomas College celebrated 100 years since it started life in Mount Lavinia, having moved there from Mutwal on January 26, 1918. A cycle parade and walk was organized to mark the celebrations.
A parade was organized from Christchurch, Mutwal this morning and proceeded towards Colombo.
We commenced this bicycle ride from Mutwal to Mount Lavinia.
Thereafter, more joined in with the parade from Colombo and proceeded towards the Sen Thomas College small club grounds in Mount Lavinia.
It has been an extremely successful event beyond all expectations. We have had a record crowd. It has been a very long parade, and I am told by the organizers that it is possibly the longest parade that has been organized by the school in history. And it is fitting that that is so, because we are celebrating 100 years at Mount. It was our intention that this parade brings together the entire Thomian family, from the oldest member to the youngest boy in the nursery, at present in school.
Newsfirst You Report is an initiative that introduced citizen journalism to Sri Lanka. With over 25,000 You reporters across the country, the Southern Province Conference for Citizen Journalists took place today. The You Report Eagle Awards appreciating the service rendered to citizen journalism by Newsfirst You Reporters was held in line with the conference.
The U-Reporter Conference and the Eagle Awards presentation took place this morning at the Mathura Cooperatives Auditorium. Senior officials from the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited were among those who graced the event.
Newsfirst U-Report Eagle Awards 2017.
The U-Reporter Eagle Awards were presented on district basis and Chatura Deshan won the award from the Mathura district. Tuan Razak won the award from the Hambantota district. Dinal Rangika won the award from the Gaul district.
After I became a U-Reporter, I was known among the people. Today is an important day in my life because I received the most important award ever. I am thankful to my parents and everyone who supported me. I call on everyone here. This is an opportunity to showcase your talent. Join with Sirasa and U-Reporter.
New U-Reporters were recruited at the event while screen tests were also carried out.
Up next is our investigative journal news segment, Action TV.
In 2016, the government of good governance decided to go ahead with the implementation of the $73 million project originally planned by the Ministry of Economic Development during the previous administration in a bid to improve the dairy industry in the country. One of the key points in the project is the importation of 20,000 dairy heifers to the country and distribute them among the dairy farmers at a concessionary rate. The importation process has several stages in it, and under the first stage, 2,000 dairy heifers were distributed among the dairy farmers, and this process was marred with many irregularities. After the Action TV expose, a veterinary specialist who obtained 20 dairy heifers in an irregular manner was forced to hand over the animals back to the ministry. However, the ministry handed those dairy heifers to a dairy farm owned by a deputy minister, which has already obtained 400 dairy heifers at a concessionary rate. Even though the ministry published a newspaper advertisement to select personnel suitable to obtain dairy heifers, a group including the deputy minister had made a payment to the Ministry of Rural Economy to purchase the dairy heifers long before this advertisement was published. Thereafter, the subject minister appeared before the media and made clarifications on the Action TV expose. However, the ministry was not able to prove stage 1 of the importation process was in fact a transparent and credible one. Stage 2 of the importation of dairy heifers is marred with even more irregularities than stage 1. On the 22nd of December, 3,000 dairy heifers reached the shores of the island and they are valued at almost 1.4 billion rupees. However, the Ministry of Rural Economy has acted in a very irresponsible manner. Details on Action TV tomorrow.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, speaking at an event in Morawaka today, expressed these views.
There is a debate as to whether both commission reports needs to be debated in Parliament. I too wanted to comment on this because it is only I who can summon Parliament, not the Speaker. I asked Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla what happened on that day. He said that I announced we are prepared to debate both these reports at any given time and that is not an issue. He said they agreed to meet on the 19th of February. Last morning I received a letter from the Speaker. No one had addressed any letter to me before that. He says Anurakumara Disanayaka had sent a letter addressing the matter of convening Parliament. I was told to consider this. Last night I met with the Speaker. I told the Speaker I will be sending the letter of convening Parliament on the 8th of February, on Monday. The party leaders can decide on what needs to be done thereafter. Parliament will be convened to debate these two commission reports. One report is about the bond issue. I will not say anything new about the bond issue. There is nothing in it that is against us or the United National Party. It says there is a 9 billion rupee loss. We have already withheld 12 billion rupees of funds owned by Perpetual Treasuries Limited. We have told the Attorney General to take action based on the Commission report. If cases needs to be filed against anyone, they can be filed. We have no issue. It has been debated more than 3 times in Parliament. I must say, even if it is debated one more time, there will be no issue. I will not lie to secure power. I have not done it in the past and I will not do it in the future. I have convened Parliament to debate this on the 8th and they can even go on until the 10th, 11th or even the 19th. The party leaders can decide on that. The other Commission report says cases needs to be filed against people. But this report says to consider it. Those parties must act against those people as well. There is a proposal to abolish the civic right of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa for life and not just for 7 years. Parliament needs to decide on that. Some in the SLFP are saying they need to work with the flower bud. They will have to solve this matter by themselves. It is not our problem.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සමහර කියනවා පොට්ටු එක්කම එකතු වැඩ කරන්න ඕන කියලා. ඒතකොට එයාට මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳ ගන්න වෙයි කියලා මං කියන එක අපේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි.
Now, the Prime Minister says that the debate on the Bond Commission report will take place on the 8th of February. However, the local government election is on the 10th of February. Now, most importantly, from midnight on the 7th, political statements cannot be promoted on the media. Now, activists believe this attempt made by the Prime Minister to hold the debate on the 8th is an attempt to ensure that statements on the Bond Commission report are not reported on the media. Now, when we look at the entire bond issue, the Prime Minister made his first statement to Parliament on the 17th of March 2015. So let's take a look at what Prime Minister had to say back then. If we report, you decide.
There is nothing to claim the governor of the central bank was involved in this. He had given the instructions in the presence of 2 other deputy governors. The allegation the governor intervened in the tender process is a baseless one. On the 27th of February, I appointed a 3-member committee to inquire into the 30-year bond issue. How else am I to look into this? This cannot be referred to the monetary board. I need to be satisfied with this first.
Welcome back here with News First. Another drinking water project carried out under the Gammada Vedadahasa program was vested with the public today.
This project will bring relief to the people living in the Biyaya village in Padavia and several surrounding villages, which are all located in Anuradhapura. This project was sponsored by Central Bearings and Machinery Private Limited. Around 1,300 people faced many issues due to the lack of access to clean drinking water. The number of people suffering from chronic kidney disease from this village alone is relatively high. We must award merits to the creators of the Sivasa Gammada initiative and the teams that have committed themselves towards these projects. What I say to them is this: identify more needs similar to this one. Do not stop with 1,000 projects. Make it 10,000 projects. Do more projects that will benefit the society.
A reception was held at the India House last evening to celebrate the 69th Republic Day of India. Speaking at the event, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, admired the close relations between India and Sri Lanka, which have grown over the past year.
The reception was attended by Minister of Special Assignments Dr. Sarath Amanugama as its chief guest, and also saw the presence of a distinguished gathering including government ministers, MPs and diplomats.
It has undoubtedly been a very special year for India-Sri Lanka relations. This is not just because of geographical proximity. As Prime Minister Modi said, this is because we have been able to translate proximity to closeness. We hope that together we can reclaim the rich historical glory of our countries, for ours is a legacy of Suvarna Bharat, Suvarna Lanka. We are neighbors by geography, friends by history, partners by economics, and above all, by fate and destiny, we are a family. As Lord Buddha has said, family is not about blood. It is about who is willing to hold your hand when you need it the most.
Republic Day honours the date on which the Constitution of India came into effect on the 26th of January 1950, replacing the Government of India Act of 1935 as the governing document of India.
Sri Lanka secured their first Tri-Nations Series victory in a year when they defeated Bangladesh today in Dhaka by 79 runs. The series also featured Zimbabwe. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.